Hello, my name is Rachel and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So in today's video, I am going to be doing my Vanguard versus me update. So a couple of weeks ago, I bought some Vanguard funds and then I bought a couple of trusts and ETFs that I like the look of and that I wanted to buy anyway. And I thought I would compare their performance over the course of the coming months and years just to see how they do. So I know a lot of people invest in Vanguard funds because they are very affordable. Vanguard is also such a well-known brand that people feel confident investing with them. They're also really good for beginner-friendly investing as well. So that's why I wanted to get a little bit of Vanguard, but then I had also done my research and wanted to invest in a different ETF and a different trust, which are not with Vanguard, and I wanted to compare how they do, as I said, over the coming weeks and months. So I bought these different funds, ETFs and trusts on Barclays Smart Investor, and the sale or investment was completed on the 2nd of the 6th, so the 2nd of June, and we are now on the 15th of June, so it's just 13 days later, almost a couple of weeks, and I think the results are really interesting so far. I do plan to hold these investments for the very long term, and I don't plan on selling them, so I will do updates on how these are doing over the next kind of months and then hopefully the years, just to see how it compares. So overall, I invested almost £5,500 in these investments, and I will give you all the figures and break it all down for you just so you can see exactly what I've done. But the two Vanguard funds that I bought were the Vanguard Life Strategy 100% Equity, and then I also bought the Vanguard Global Small Cap Index as well. And then the ETF and trust that I wanted to buy already, I had already done my research for, so it's focused in a different area. However, I thought this was a fair test because the risk levels of these two ETFs and trusts that I've selected are the same risk level as the Vanguard Life Strategy and the Vanguard Global Small Cap Index. So they both have a risk score of 5 and 6. So I thought it was important to compare them in that way, simply because I think often people choose to invest with Vanguard because they think that it might be less risky. So I have chosen something that's on the higher level of risk from their choice of funds that are available. And I also tend to like to focus on investing on slightly higher levels of risk, just because I do plan to hold them for the long term, and often higher levels of risk can mean that you make more money. However, that's not always the case. It's just a sliding scale of the riskier you are, potentially the more money you could make. But obviously you've got to be so careful with your own investment and only invest money that you are prepared to lose. But hopefully that won't be the case and we'll make lots of money. So the other two investments that I bought were, first of all, an ETF, which is the Invesco Markets III PLC Invesco NASDAQ 100. And then the second trust that I bought was the Pacific Horizon Investment Trust PLC. So all of those are available on Barclays Smart Investor and probably available on lots of different platforms as well. I thought it was really interesting that you could buy Vanguard funds on different platforms. You don't have to have a Vanguard account to buy these funds if you wanted to do something similar, which I'm not suggesting you do. This is just an interesting challenge for me. So let me tell you, in the 13 days since I've had them, just how much money I've made on these. So I'm going to talk about this in the money I've made, but also talk about the percentage gains, because I think that is really important, because I invested a smaller amount in the Vanguard funds and a larger amount in the two that I've done the research on. So it's more important to talk about percentage gains in terms of that. So looking at the Vanguard Life Strategy, the book cost for that was £250. So I bought £250 of both of the funds, and it is now at £252.76, which is a gain of 1.1% in just under 2 weeks, which is awesome. Then the Vanguard Global Small Cap Index, book cost £250, is now at £252.38, so that is a gain of 0.95%. Now moving on to the investments that I have chosen. So one of them has done really well in the last couple of weeks, and one of them has done not quite so well. It's not earth-shatteringly bad, but it's not great. However, we have been pulled up by the one that's done well. So the Invesco Markets Nasdaq one is up 3.96%. So I invested £2,365.70 in this, and its current value is £2,459.60. So as I said, a 3.96% gain there, which I'm really pleased with. Yeah, as I said, I was planning on investing around about £2,500 into the Invesco one and also the Pacific Horizon one, but obviously they are ETFs and trusts, so you can't invest a specific number. So we're getting close to that at £2,365.70 invested, so that was as close as I could get. So that one is up 3.96%. I will pop all of the details and all of the percentages and the amounts that I've bought down below in the description box, just so you've got those details, and also so you can double check my maths if that's something that you're into. Then the other one is the Pacific Horizon Investment Trust PLC. So the book cost for that was £2,510.89. And it is now down 1.89%, which is £2,463.24 is how much I have invested now. So when we add the gains and losses together as a whole and compare Vanguard versus my choice, we are very close, which I thought was really interesting. So the Vanguard funds, if we average them out, are coming in at being up 1%, and then the ones I selected are coming in at being up 0.95%. So just a 0.05% difference between the two. So they are pretty much, well, very close. Vanguard is up that little bit more. So at the moment, Vanguard is winning. I do plan on doing these updates every kind of month. I just wanted to do this initial 2-week one just to give you an idea of the figures and explain a bit more in detail. Also, in my last video, I had a couple of questions around the fees and whether I would be including those. And I wanted to just explain in this video what I'm going to be doing with that. And I thought this was really important to include this information because a lot of the time people go with Vanguard funds because they are very cheap. So what I plan on doing is detailing all of the ongoing costs and fund costs with these investments. So the fund manager fees are all taken out before I see what my current value is. So that's the way that it works on Barclays Smart Investor. I do know what the percentage fees for the Vanguard funds and also for the ones I've selected myself are. The Vanguard funds are cheaper to invest in, and that cost is coming out before I see what gain or loss I'm at. So those fees are all accounted for in the figures that I am giving you. So I hope that helps. In terms of buying these funds and investments, I obviously have a platform fee which is separate. So I have the Barclays platform fee, I have an ISA with them, and I have lots of different funds within that account. So that platform fee is separate, and I would be charged a platform fee whether I was with Vanguard or whether I was with Barclays. So I'm not going to include that. And then also there are fees payable. For example, when you buy a fund on Barclays, the Vanguard cost for buying a fund on Barclays was £3 as a set cost, but I'm not going to include those figures simply because I invested a much smaller amount in Vanguard, so only £250 versus almost £2,500 in the other ETF and trust. So that would obviously skew the percentage returns quite a lot, because £3 is a much bigger percentage than of £250 than it obviously is of £2,500. So I'm not going to include those because they are going to skew it. But yeah, so those fees are not included. However, ongoing fees and fund management fees are included. So I will probably do an update in a couple of weeks, which will mean that I've held these for a month. So if you would like to see how this is shaping up and how I'm doing compared to Vanguard, then please do subscribe to this channel. I have 476 subscribers at the moment, so I'm not too far off 500. It would be awesome to have 500 subscribers, but anyway, I am waffling now, so thank you so very much for watching. I hope you're all having a lovely day. Let me know if you're invested in any of these funds or trusts or ETFs. It'd be awesome to hear how they've done for you, and I wish you all the very best. Bye bye.